So now I'm with great happiness. I'm inviting Mahesh ji to come here. Mahesh ji, they are ready. They are primed.
Namaste. Okay. So Shunyaji has given you the idea about the seasonal regimen specifically in this season. So as we always say, there are three basic things in our body. One is the heating thing, one is the cooling thing, the third one is which is responsible for all kinds of movements. So what we think, what we treat and what we recommend is all based on these three things. And these three things, what Shunyaji was referring to as Kapha, Pitta and Vata, these are constantly changing in our body. So the levels of these things constantly keep on changing. And these changes are basically because of the seasons. And seasons, it's all because of the sun and moon. So wherever you go, in any part of the world, so sun and moon, you can't replace them. So it can be US, it can be India, it can be any other part of the world. So the seasons are going to be there, and according to the place, the variations will be seen. And according to those variations, different levels of these three basic constituents in our body keep on changing. So if we balance these three things, we in a way strengthen our body, we strengthen our system, we build the immunity. So that is what the main purpose of Ayurveda is. So what we specifically focus on is we want to prevent any kind of disease, we want to have the maximum health, we want to maintain the health. So for all these purposes, we suggest to follow certain basic rules, like which season what we should have, which season what we should not have. So all these things are very important as far as health is concerned. Now, Shunyaji was referring to winter and this season, so she was also referring to honeymoon aspect. So that is also very important. To have good amount of strength in our body, we need to follow these seasonal regimens, because winter is always considered as the most healthy season. So in that particular season, we can have plenty of food. As plenty doesn't mean you can have any amount of food. It depends on your digestive capacity. But that is the season when whatever you have will get properly digested, will get properly utilized by your body. So in a way, you build strength for the whole year. So that is the time, that is the season where you should be building your strength, building your body. Then the other seasons, if you see, fall is the season and the summer is the season which have the least amount of energy in our body. So we are just coping with that particular season. So if a person is fond of exercise, so he should have that aspect in the mind. For example, for an athlete, for a runner who is running say few kilometers, a couple of miles in winter, he won't be able to do that in summer and fall. So he has to understand this aspect, that the bodily strength is little low. But if you don't follow these things, certain things start occurring. So this is the particular period, this autumn or Sharad Ritu, where this heat inside the body keeps on increasing. If you follow what Shunyaji was referring to, like each season you have to understand the aspect of that season, then accordingly you choose those vegetables, those fruits, those dietary things with which you can just balance that change in your body. But if you don't do that, imbalance will start happening in your body. So that imbalance is what we call it as heat is increasing specifically for this particular season. So in this season, if you see, you just can Google and what is the maximum, if you find the statistics of diseases like say shingles, burning sensation, all kinds of rashes. So you will see this is the time period, September and October. This is the period where you will have the maximum incidence of these diseases, let's say shingles. So if you compare it with the winter, it will be double or more, sometimes even triple than the number of the shingle cases which are found in winter this is the period you will have the maximum number of diseases like this. So it gives us an idea, okay, already this season is creating more heat in your body, so now we need to compensate that heat. So in conditions when you get certain kinds of problems like this, you have to follow certain specific regimen, what Shunyaji was referring to, but it doesn't happen always. That, I mean, now you know, but it's not that everyone knows about these things. So people just fall prey of all kinds of commercials and different kinds of foods, eating spicy food, eating pungent food, and then these heat inside the body increases. Now when we say pitta or heat inside the body, we can get an idea that every part of our body has different temperature. So you can't be sure that, okay, each part, each organ of the body, each constituent of the body is having same temperature. So each thing has a different temperature. That is why our body heat is also maintained specifically. But if we just don't understand this aspect and keep eating heat producing or heat increasing things in our body, so then it shows in form of different symptoms. So the commonest conditions what we see in this particular season could be shingles, herpes simplex, herpes zoster. So these are commonly observed in this particular season. Then in general, if it can't be, I mean, sometimes it may not be a disease as such, but specifically in this particular season, people observe that overall body heat is increased. So if they already have certain conditions like hyperacidity or past or they have any history of shingles or herpes, so everything gets, I mean, this heat supplements those diseases, those conditions, and everything comes out in form of a lot of heat. So this heat causes different diseases. Now, if we have to compensate this heat, we can use certain home remedies, certain basic things which are specifically good. So the one of the basic things is rose petals. So having rose as we see, I mean, it has the fragrance. So in the same manner, it has some cooling effect also. So that cooling effect can be utilized to reduce the heat from the body. So there are different recipes with which you make, you prepare certain things with rose petals. So one of them is called as gulkand, in which you use rose petals with sugar syrup. So that combination becomes so cooling and it compensates the heat from your body. The second thing which we are going to talk specifically today is about amalaki or Indian gooseberry, or in other words it's called as Amla. So this is a specific fruit which has the capacity to reduce the heat from your body. So, I mean, out of all the fruits, I mean, if you see, there are so many fruits and so many things we have. Some of them have some heat in them, some are warm and some are cooling. So if you see, this is a particular fruit which has a cooling property. So what it does is, it reduces the heat from your body. It gives a specific energy, specific strength to your body, which is required specifically in this season. If you start eating heavier meals, like, I mean, milk is also a particular dietary thing which has cooling effect, but you can't drink milk in excessive quantity. You have to look for your digestive capacity also. But the fruits like this avla, or there's another fruit which is pomegranate. These are the two fruits which, even though they are sour in nature, they have cooling effect on your body. Otherwise, if you see most of the sour things, they produce some heat in your body. Do you agree? Because sour things like, I mean, it could be tamarind, it could be lemon, so they have some heating effect on your body. So that increases the heat in your body. But these are the two things, pomegranate and amalaki or avla, which are sour in nature, but at the same time they have cooling effect on your body. Now in case of avla, which is like the most important thing, because it has so many other qualities in it, it is always used as a rejuvenator. So if a person wants to rejuvenate his body. So this is the thing which is commonly used. So you probably have heard about Chawanprash. So Chawanprash is like one of the main things, one of the important things Ayurveda has described. So it's like it is a rejuvenator. In other words, we can say it is antioxidant to keep your health, to maintain your health, to prevent aging. So all these aspects are because of this fruit. So this fruit, what it does is it reduces the heat which is already built in your body because of your dietary things, because of seasonal things that happen. So all these things get compensated by this fruit. By reducing the heat from your body, it maintains the good quality of your blood tissue. Blood is one of the most important things which are related to skin. So in cases when you get eczema, rash, or any other kind of things, like even it could be herpes, it could be shingles. So in all these conditions, blood tissue or the blood it gets disturbed. I mean, once you start learning Ayurveda, more and more you'll understand what exactly Pitta is and how it is related to the blood. But right now I can say you can get an idea that blood is something which is responsible for your healthy skin. And this is the fruit which takes care of the heat inside the blood, purifies the blood, it tones the blood, it gives strength to your blood, and then it ensures that okay, your skin is good, your complexion is good, your texture of the skin is good. So everything gets maintained by this particular fruit. Now, one more specific thing, I mean, since we are talking about Sharad Ritu, this particular fruit is a kind of I mean, this can be consumed throughout the year, but this is the season where it nourishes your body in such a manner that it reduces the heat and strengthens your body tissues. Otherwise, this is not the season to strengthen your body, because we always say winter is the time when you improve the health of your body, strengthen your body tissue. But this fruit, specifically in this season, it reduces the heat and strengthens all the tissues. Now, one more thing about this this particular fruit is that this fruit is always considered as rejuvenator, and the reason is, I mean, over the period of time, our body is going through a constant change, right from childhood till our old age. Everything is changing inside the body. We have certain body constituents and every body constituent has its function. So while performing these functions, certain things, certain other constituents remain stagnant in our body. So these stagnant things are completely removed from our body with the help of this particular fruit. So in a way, it is creating cleansing effect in your body. So by cleansing effect, it is nourishing your body, and at the same time it is reducing the heat from the body. So this fruit is always considered as the best thing as far as this season is concerned. Now going back to those conditions which we were talking, like rash on the skin, shingles, herpes, even eczema like conditions. But eczema, again, as Shunyaji was mentioning, it is a specific disease where there could be pitta, there could be heat involved in it, there could be phlegm involved in it. But in general, speaking about the heat related disorders, that heat specifically can be compensated by using this kind of recipe. So here what you see is, this is the Amla fruit, Indian gooseberry. Unfortunately, this doesn't grow here. So this one is how it actually looks, but this one is a different preparation of Indian gooseberry or Amla, and the way it is prepared is, it is yeah, you can just circulate it, yeah. And the one right now, which is shown on that particular thing, that has, sugar syrup. It is soaked in sugar syrup, so that sugar syrup acts as a preservative. So it doesn't contain any other preservative. It has just the sugar content in it. And sugar, as Shunyaji was mentioning, that madhurras, that sweet taste, is always beneficial to reduce heat from the body. So now this particular fruit with some amount of sugar in it, so that combination becomes so healthy for your body in this particular season that eating one avla, one fruit a day, that can be said as a one avla a day keeps doctor away. So you will strengthen your body, you'll strengthen your tissues, and you will actually prevent all kinds of diseases. So when we talk about immunity and all other things, if we just follow these basic rules, you actually strengthen your body, and then you can prevent all kinds of diseases. And there's one more thing which is circulated right now, is the powder of avla. So the same fruit is dried and it can be made into powder form. So that powder can also be used. If you just can't get the fruit as a whole, you can use the powder. So this powder also has that specific quality, that specific effect. And if you just look at the qualities of avla, it actually benefits you in various ways. So the first thing was the reducing heat, nourishing the body, rejuvenating your cells. It prevents graying of hair, it stops hair fall, it is beneficial in case you have wrinkles. So eating this fruit has so many effects that it becomes very important for day-to-day life. It also works on constipation. So eating this particular fruit with some amount of ghee and some amount of sugar, specifically in this season, that takes care of all the problems, all the specific conditions which are created in this particular season, and then you can prevent all the diseases. Now, one more specific thing here, which is not directly related to this season, but for the season which is coming next. So if we follow certain basic rules and these regulations related to the season, what we do is we keep our whole system, we keep our body so clean that nothing else can vitiate our body, nothing else can disturb our body constituents for the next season. So if we just try to maintain our health in each season by following these specific rules, you can totally ensure that you will have the best quality of your body tissues and the best health. So that's why we always focus on seasonal regimen and using certain specific things that will help to improve the health in these particular seasons. So do you have any specific questions around these things?
Where can you find these berries?
So this is the one which is, it's kind of a recipe. So you find this easily in Indian stores. And avla powder, this powder, that can be available at different places where you buy herbs. We have our student Amba, who's specifically working on this particular project. She is helping everyone to get the best quality of herbs for all the people. So you can be sure of the quality. So you can contact her. So she's here. All the details are also here. So these two things are specifically available, and we mainly recommend these two things. If you can find the actual avla, which is right from the tree, that is the best one. But here, unfortunately, growing avla is difficult. So that one is the frozen variety of avla, just for the purpose of showing you what exactly avla fruit is. So we have brought this. But we don't specifically recommend to eat frozen things, because by keeping it in the fridge, by creating cold qualities in that particular fruit, you make it heavy. And again, as we were talking, the digestive capacity in our body is not the best in this particular season, so it is not recommended. And in general, throughout the year, eating things which are cold, which are frozen, that's not healthy, that's not good for your system, for your digestive capacity. So that's why we don't recommend these things.
How do we use the powder? Like in what form?
Powder is like, you can take half a teaspoon with ghee. Specifically in this season, you can add sugar also to it. You can have it at night, or you can have it early morning. So if you want to have it as a rejuvenator, as a nourishing thing, you should be having it in the morning, so that ensures that everything is good. And in certain conditions, like people specifically in this particular season, because of heat, they get sleep related problems. So if a person is having that kind of problem, or a person is having constipation, then they can have it at night, so that heals those conditions.
And can you use honey instead of sugar, or?
Not in this season,
Okay.
because honey, if you see, it has that warmth, it is heating. So what we are focusing in this season is, we already have a lot of heat because of the nature, because of the season. So we are just compensating that heat. So that's our focus is. So that's why no heating things and no honey.
So these sugar-coated amla is also from the Indian grocery
Actually,
store?
it's not just sugar coated, it has all sugar deep inside Amla. So if you try that, you will feel it is too sweet.
Yeah.
So, but that is what we want in this season. That's the most important thing. So specifically in this season, you can have this, and then afterwards, if you want, you can use powder. That is also beneficial. Sorry, I just cut you in the middle. You can ask your question.
Yeah, that was my question. If these are available directly from the Indian grocery store?
Exactly. It is available in Indian grocery
In the
store.
frozen section?
No, it's never frozen. Because it has sugar in it.
It's like
So
it's like achar.
it's like achar. Murabba, avle ka murabba. That's what it is. So you don't need to keep it in the fridge. It is always kept outside, because sugar
Sugar is a
totally
preservative.
acts as a preservative.
I heard the amla is also good for helping the calcium absorption in the body. Is that true?
Actually, the thing is, avla is a particular thing which is taking out all the toxins and stagnant things from your body. It making more space for anything that is coming inside the body. So whatever nutrients, whatever supplements you're taking, avla will make sure everything is getting absorbed. So that's what avla does. So it could be vitamin D, any vitamin, calcium, anything. But the most important factor is, once you start eating this thing, that quality of your body, the absorption quality of your body is increased in such a manner that whatever food you have, whatever the nutrients it has, everything gets absorbed to your body. So then there's no need to have any calcium or vitamin D of that sort. Yeah.
You actually addressed it when she asked about the powder.
Mm-hmm.
But the fruit itself, when is the right time to eat it and what quantity?
Yeah, you can have one fruit a day. Just get away from that quote. One fruit a day keeps doctor away. But you can have it any time of the day. You can have it in the morning or evening. But make sure that you're eating it properly. You are not swallowing it. You're chewing it and properly eating it. So if you have it in the morning, which is always considered as the time for nourishing the body, we call it as Rasayan Kal. So the students will understand it better. So that is the time when you will build your tissues, build the strength in your body. So preferably have it in the morning.
I also seen it in the dry flakes, like the dried up.
Mm-hmm.
So that is almost
Yeah.
like the powder.
That is also fine.
So do you soak it, or you can just eat it? Like, do you soak it in the water?
No. Then you don't have to soak it. You can have it in dry form. So you will actually get certain digestive avla in digestive form, which commonly is called as supari. So you dry them, you add some spices to it, and then you eat them. But that becomes a totally different thing, because it has different qualities, because certain spices are added to it. But here, when we are focusing on the heat, this is the best thing. Okay.
Do you personally eat one every day?
Yes.
All year long?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just checking.
So this is from my stack only.
Okay. So here you're okay to eat frozen?
No. I'm not talking about the frozen. It is just for the purpose of showing you what exactly Amla is. And what we are specifically recommending is this one and the powder one. You actually can get juice of Amla also, so that is also beneficial. So this particular season you can make squash like preparation with that juice, so that will also help you to reduce the heat. So for people who have had chicken pox, smallpox, shingles, all kind of heat related problems, they may observe this is the period where body heat is slightly increased. So to compensate that, if they start specifically eating this Amla, they will get benefited. Okay? Yes, thank you.
Thank you.